Hey guys, what's going on? It's Brandon. So somebody in the comments asked me to make a video about BSV, and it's a good day to make a video about BSV because it's definitely taken a beating relative to what do you call it, Bitcoin. So there's the BSV price right now. I still own my BSV. I had a feeling it was going to get down to this. I have a feeling it might even go on down to 20 because I drew a certain trend line from way back in the day utilizing Webull, one of their charts, and I drew a line. And the chart on Webull is expired, like they stopped reporting several months back. But just the way the chart, the line that I drew, it showed that it could fall as far as about $20 and then hit that bottom line and bounce up. But neither here nor there. What I want to ask first and foremost, and I'm asking this as a genuine question, because I keep getting different answers from everybody, and therefore it's something that needs to be properly discussed, is when is the realistic timeline on the BTC upcoming fork? So the fork for, make sure it's still on you, the fork for the knots versus core 20 or whatever the fuck it is, basically there's more and more people going to knots, and therefore it's going to force one of these hard forks eventually. So it's going to be interesting how that works. Are both forks going to end up being worth 100 grand? Or both forks going to be, one's worth 100 something grand and one's worth still 10 or 20 grand? The point is there's this fork coming, okay? So that's the first question. So I want to compartmentalize that. We need to have educated discussion about that, so please put that in the comments. Meanwhile, second question, something to think about. It's not so much a question, it's just something that I thought of today as I'm sitting here looking at everything and seeing how Bitcoin's holding ground and BSV is losing ground, which is obviously the opposite of what I thought was going to happen. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought BSV yet. I would have held on to my Bitcoin longer. As I started thinking about this, I said, you know what, I wonder if these guys on Wall Street who are all in the BTC, because that's a big deal, whoever is into it on Wall Street, that's big clout, pushing for it to be that way, like Saylor and the Facebook twins and all this stuff. But anyway, the point is, is this fork in BTC going to allow them to propose the argument that if BSV is the original chain, because it has these larger blocks, and if BCH is considered more of the original chain because it has larger blocks, well, now that Bitcoin, BTC, also has larger blocks after this fork, one of the variants, the core variant, has the larger blocks, okay? And even the knots variant has the larger blocks, but they're just compartmentalized, right? I'm just speaking in simple terms. Isn't that going to be a defense where they're going to be able to say, this is still from the original chain, and we went back to bigger blocks, just like Craig Wright and BSV went back to bigger blocks, just like BCH went back to bigger blocks. So who cares? And ours is quote unquote porn proof, offensive images proof, because we have the knots program. So that being the case, if a person can potentially double their money or even 50% their money after this quote unquote fork with BTC, when the two coins are created, it's important for us to discuss when is this fork taking place. So on a logical timeline, let's say I was invested and I was one of these heavy hitters in Wall Street, I would first want the fork to happen before I would sell anything, is my thoughts, because you have better odds of having more money after it forks. I could be wrong, but that's just where my thoughts are. Maybe you sell some before, some after, but the point is, you sell after the fork, and you take your proceeds and you transfer them to BSV, which is going to bring us to our third topic. I didn't report on this before, and I'd like to report on this real quick. So when I would go to these Indo-X, okay, so today the volume is back up because it was down to like 7%. So the BSV 24-hour volume is back up to 9.6%, which is good. So when we scroll down to the exchanges and you sort them by volume, 24 hours, by clicking the 24-hour volume button, something that I didn't point out before, because I frankly just didn't notice it before, I thought that all these different Indo-X exchanges were like different exchanges. I was too ignorant to notice, but nobody else is even talking about this at all. I was too ignorant to notice that technically it's all the one Indo-X exchange. They're just showing how much is being transferred in the different paths, meaning the very top spot and volume is BSV and BTC being transferred to each other. The next one down is Tether. The next one down is, okay, now they have the Tether one both ways. They have USDT to BSV. And then they have BSV to USDT. Okay, so it's directional. Meanwhile, the other ones don't seem to be directional. The BTC, the BCH, the LTC, and the ETH, those don't seem to be directional, okay? Meaning they only list each one time and they don't list the inverse direction, which is critical that they don't. It's very convenient for people who want to conceal truth that they don't, because we don't know what the biggest volume transaction, which is 77 million, we don't know what that transaction is, whether Bitcoins are coming to BSV or whether BSV are going back to Bitcoins. You see what I'm saying? We don't know which way it's going. And you can say, well, we can easily assume which way it's going due to the price, not if they're messing with synthetic shares, synthetic coins on the exchanges, and or they're using a small quantity of coins and swirling them round and round and round to price fix. So anyway, I just wanted to point out that I thought it was pretty interesting that the biggest trade volume by basically a factor of 10 is Bitcoin to BSV or BSV to Bitcoin. Take your pick. I would think that if you were transferring Bitcoin BSV to, what do you call it, Bitcoin BTC, you would have ran out of BSV a long time ago. Because remember, we had those days when there was like $1 billion worth of coins moved. Okay? So if there's 400 million and $1.3 billion worth of coins moved, who's got that much BSV when the entire market cap of BSV is only 500 million? You see what I'm saying? It's impossible. So that leads me to believe the odds are much higher that it's coming from BTC back to BSV and it's being held in synthetic shares before BSV pops. That's my take. This is not financial advice. Do your own due diligence. Please add intelligent conversation in the comments below. I appreciate you guys. See ya.